Okay. All right, Glass.
You have been cordially invited, and we welcome you to a Zeta Mu live event. This is where the members of Zeta Mu Chapter of Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated give you a quality live event. So sit back, relax, and thank you for joining us. Hello to all of our beautiful sorors, friends, and family in Iota Phi Lambda Sorority land. How are you all doing this beautiful evening?
Doing great.
They
Doing
said,
great.
"Oh, they said, oh, we on camera. Hi."
Right?
If you all do not know who we are the Zeta Mu chapter of Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated, the first business and professional women's sorority for African American women. And now that we have other women in our chapters, women of color and beyond, okay? So we're here tonight to have a conversation with you, your future Iota leaders, which would be the youth, and people who are interested in the organization. Hey, Sora Lynette. So we have people that are coming into the room. Let us know you're here. Let us know what chapter you're from, and we'll put you up on the screen. So on behalf of our second vice president, Miss Karen Y. Airy, who is on the screen tonight, we present to you Conversations with Professional Women of Zeta Mu. How you doing, Karen?
Good evening. Good evening, Madam President and Sora Erica. I am doing fine. This is one in a series of webinars or presentations or discussions that we like to have with our future IOTA leaders that we also call our Phil. We try to give them nuggets that they can use through middle school, through high school, even into college. We try to plant seeds in our youth. So if they're inspired to do anything, they can always reach back and go, you know what? When I was a Phil in Zeta Mu and Iota, I remember blah blah blah. So we really want to enrich our youth, and this is one of the ways that we do it. It's called career exploration. So we introduce our youth to the SOARs in our chapter and others who are in different professions. And we discuss with them or let them know how we started our journey, our trials and tribulations throughout. If we decided to change our course, what was that decision? What was the decision? How was it made? And just things that can help them and enhance them as they go through middle school, high school, and into college.
Nice. All right. So that was the overall pitch of why we are here tonight. Thank you all for coming to join us. And I would like to welcome my dog, Tucker. He has just walked in the room oh so gracefully. So all the dogs are barking tonight. But before we get into our conversations, we have a few of our coveted members of the Zeta Mu chapter who are here with us this evening, representing, charter status, newer status, things of that nature. So I'm going to start with Miss Alyssa Johns. You can introduce yourself. Let us know. Also, let us know when you were made, because we have a lot of members in the house tonight.
Hello, everyone, and sorors. So, again, I'm Alyssa Johns. I'm one of the charter members for Zeta Mu Chapter, which chartered in July 2021. So, and I was a line of 20. So, I'm 7. So, if you want to know my height. So, there's that. In my profession, I am a registered nurse that works for Children's National. So I'm a pediatric infusion nurse.
All right. Well, hello. Next, we have Miss Alyssa White Lopez. Hi.
Hello. Good evening, Phils. Good evening, Soras and guests. My name is the other Alyssa White Lopez. Um, and I crossed just after Alyssa Johns the next year on fall 22, and I'm a six. So a lot of similarities there. For my profession, I am a producer slash production manager. And we will discuss a little bit later all about that, but happy to be here.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have Miss Jadana Foreman. Hi, Jadana.
Hello, Sorors. Hello, everyone. My name
Hey.
is Hi. My name is Jadana Foreman, and I actually crossed in the fall 2023 line, the most recent line for Zeta Mu, and I'm very happy to be a part of this presentation. I am a business owner. I am a certified public accountant and a business owner in Prince George's County. So I own a daycare after school program, and I own a foundation.
Awesome.
Yes.
And Miss Karen, did you want to give your professional background? Because something tells me you might pop in and pop out of the conversation as well.
Yeah, I can tell a little bit because, yes, I will be popping in and out. I am a landscape architect slash project manager. And I have worked for the National Park Service for over 32 years. And I've always been a landscape architect. We protect the natural and cultural resources of the United States. And right now, what I do is I work on all of the federal roads that are in Washington, D.C. So I don't have any projects on the mall, but I do our Baltimore Washington Parkway, George Washington Memorial Parkway, Suitland Parkway, Rock Creek Parkway. So those are the kinds of projects that I work on.
Awesome blossom. And if you all are watching here, you've probably seen me go live before. I'm the president of Zeta Mu Chapter, Erica Belton. I'm an environmental engineer with a degree in biological engineering. I work for the Department of Navy, Department of Defense, Lord have mercy. And I've been doing that for 16 strong, long years. Not nothing to sneeze at, Karen, 30 some, but I got 16. So now that we have introduced ourselves, and Source, continue to flood us in the comments. Let us know what chapters you're from. Hi, Sora Monifa. We have New York in the house. I see Zeta Mu Chapter is here. If you are from any other chapters, please let us know in the comments. We appreciate y'all communicating with us. And if you have any questions, comments, be sure to post it in the chat because I will bring it up to the screen so that all of our other viewers can see your comments. So we are floating between Facebook and YouTube at this time. All right. So now that we're going to go ahead and get started, how did you all come? What made you do these careers? What attracted you to what it is you do today? So, Alyssa Johns, tell us about what attracted you to your profession.
So what attracted me, which y'all might think I'm crazy for it. Um, so I have a disease that I was born with, which my sorors know is sickle cell. Sorry, my 1-year-old's trying to break into the bedroom. But I have sickle cell disease. So if you ask my family, I've constantly been in and out of the hospital since I want to say 1 years old. And even though most people, if you're in the hospital that often, you don't really want to work in healthcare. Whereas for me, I was just like, you know what? I want to know more about it. I want to know how to take care of myself. And also looking up to my mother, who is also a nurse. I was just like, I want to become a registered nurse. So that was the main thing that intrigued me to it. And also learning about other diseases. And then I always wanted to take care of children, which can be a lot, but I still love taking care of kids.
All right. And Miss Alyssa White Lopez.
Yes, so my career path was not one that I particularly wanted, but more so stumbled across. I actually was a biology major first, my freshman year of college, and that did not last very long once I had to dissect things. So I immediately popped open this huge book that I still have in my library that's called like 1,000 College Majors, something like that. I would encourage every one of you to read it to our fills. But I really started exploring what I would be good at. I've always been really creative and love to just express myself in that way and in creative forms. So I started looking into what majors would fall under that realm, and I came across creative marketing. So I went ahead and pursued that. I attended, and I'm an alumni of Bowie State University. At the time, we had just started a program there called VCDMA around my junior year, which is Visual Communications and Digital Media. So that kind of broadened my horizon more to the media side, and I added that on as a minor. So I kind of fell in between these two worlds of media and marketing, which are similar but not quite the same. And I just found myself at that intersection. So in college, I did internships and things like that. And I came across a really great internship at TV1, where I currently work. But at the time, I started as an intern, wanted to get into marketing, but they had no marketing internships. So the HR lady who worked there, shout out to Kim. Hey, Kim. She's still there. I love her. She was like, encouraged me to try out PR or just other areas within the company. And so while I interned there, I interned with public relations. Sorry, not just PR. And I got my hands on all the different departments, which included production and marketing and things like that. I got to kind of interact with them all. And so that really piqued my interest, and that set the trajectory for me for the rest of my college career, because then I proceeded to pursue classes like screenwriting and things like that, and then go on to do a master's in media study that got me more into that production and media side. So, and that is
Awesome.
up here today.
All right. Listen, we're about to dig into it more. We're just going around the room to understand who do we have on the panel. But since you all have done your introductions, we have Brittany from the Arizona Zeta Tau chapter. We have, of course, Monifa from the Big Apple Omicron chapter. And we have one of my loves. Look, Monifa know how I feel about her too. But I also got big love for Miss Daveline Arrington Perry. She got her whole name on here, from Norfolk, Virginia. Love your bunches. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, Jadana, what made you invest in daycare and after school programming?
Well, I actually wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur and business owner since I was about five years old. One of those things I just knew. And so I just remember being in the second grade or something, and maybe it was a panel or something like this that drew me to it. So I decided to become a business major because I figured I wanted to learn the business side of how to run a business. And I just always could see myself running a business. So I pursued accounting at Georgetown. I was very fortunate to get a full ride to Georgetown. And I was always very, very, very blessed. I did well with accounting. And so I pursued business, and I did well with that. And I passed so I started with the government. I have probably 15 years with the government, and then another 15 years in corporate America, 15 to 16 years in corporate America, doing accounting, and with a big four accounting firm. There are like four huge accounting firms in the world, and KPMG is one of them. So I was in corporate America for 15 years, and I was good at it. But corporate America, as you guys know, it's tough. You have a lot of bullets. If you're a Black woman in corporate America, you taking some bullets. You taking some bullets in the back. So I figured that, okay, I'm going to have, and one thing I learned when I was in corporate America, because I had a lot of interns and mentees. So I knew that the average millionaire has 5 revenue streams. And I used to tell my interns that all the time. They got 5 revenue streams. So I figured I was going to have to come up with a revenue stream where I was making money and I was not the one taking the bullet. So that's what I had to figure out. And in the meantime, my sister and her husband were having issues. So my sister moved in with me. My sister was a teacher at a daycare, and she was excellent in what she did. Oh my God, she was excellent. So she moved in with me, and she started working for a day. She was working for a daycare, and now she was just always even when we grew up, my sister was just loved kids. She was the person that took care of kids, took care of everybody, and I was the business person. Always, we were so close. But when she moved in, she was working for a daycare. She had started a new daycare. She was working for a new daycare, and this lady initially only had 30 kids. She only had 30 kids. And my sister took her daycare from 30 kids to 150 kids. Now, if I can't do anything, I can add. I said, wait a minute. The average person is paying $1,000 a month for their child care. So you took this person's business from $30,000 a month to $150,000 a month. I said, no, we're gonna look for a building. That's what I said. I said, no, we're gonna look for a building. I was at KPMG. I was in management, and God, lo and behold, we found a building. And not only was my sister really good at doing that, she was like on the director's committee. She was like, okay, JD, we need to find the best revenue stream is to find a church that has a room. And we were able to, because of her relationship, she had gotten awards just everywhere, just brilliant. So lo and behold, that's why I became the event. We found a building. We've been in business for 10 years now. We found a building. Not only did we find a building, it was $1,800 a month. And it included, because she had worked there before, and it was just sitting there. And lo and behold, God was waiting for her, because that building stayed empty until she was looking to own it with myself. So I was the signer. And so now we are in that building. We had started out with, we probably had 15 kids, because once my sister started, everybody started looking for her, because she had that type of reputation. We were in the black within 2 months. I'm a CPA, so I'm like, okay, we gonna be in the black. We're gonna be in the black, right? So now we have more than 100 kids. And my sister is the executive director, and I'm so grateful. But that's how I became the owner of Mighty Minds Enrichment Center.
It sounds like the Alyssas. It sounds like we need to open up a daycare. I do have some follow-up questions, because I'm stressed, because all I could think about was insurance. Diabetes. I'm like, hold on now. We're gonna get into it. But before we get into it, because I know the people in the comments is probably like, honey, do I need to go buy a building? I need to go buy a building for Jadonna so she can expand her business. Okay.
I've always seen my name on the bill. That's what I told my sister. So now we have, it used to be a Bowie satellite location. So not only do we have the building, but during the COVID, my daughter started a dance studio. So we have a dance studio there. And now we have a foundation as well. Because the best way to give back to the community is through a foundation. So you can write all of that off.
We're going to talk about all of that offline. We got to figure out how to get these write-offs together. Zeta Mu, y'all stay tuned. We're going to have a write-off meeting with her and Sora Barbara. Okay. So with that being said, so for the Alyssas, I hate we got to do it like this tonight, the Alyssas. Because clearly I speak to them individually. So tonight they're just getting grouped up. So with the jobs that you all have being young professional women, what have been some certain adversities you all have faced with your jobs? Was it because of your color, because of your age? Was it how you carry yourself? What some of the adversities you may have had in your professional careers?
I would say, at least from the nursing standpoint, Starting off as a new grad, um, which I worked like in a hospital, 12-hour shifts. I would say the hospital I first worked at, it was diverse, but there'll be some little issues that you would notice. Like they um, would definitely have their biases, to say the least. And that's all basically on a good manager being able to like make sure that does not happen. And if not the manager, then you just work up the ladder like HR. There's that adversity of being a new grad to like the nurses that have been nurses for like 20 plus years and they're never leaving that position. So it's like when you're with somebody, like you're starting off as a nurse and they have their old ways. And in healthcare, everything changes. Like I want to say every 6 months. So trying to tell that to somebody that's been there for like 20 plus years, they're like telling you like, yeah, that's how they want us to do it, but you're gonna do it this way. And then sometimes you wouldn't always have the same person training you. They would switch off who. So that made it a little difficult because everybody has their different styles. Of course, patients are safe, but that would be the one thing that I felt like was hard until you realize like, okay, you got to get your own groove of one, following the policies and protocols of that hospital, but then also like understanding that everybody has their different way of doing things. So it's like you can't always like go and, for lack of a better word, snitch to the manager and tell them like, hey, they're doing this, and like poking and prodding. And especially luckily I haven't dealt with that because, you know, what I'm going to bring up is there is such thing as nurse hazing. And that normally happens when you're a new grad. I didn't have to deal with it because I was not taking that. But I have noticed like other nurses, they will get that from like the nurses that have been there for a while. Or even sometimes it will be not a new grad nurse, but somebody that's been there for like at most a year. Or they came from another location. They've been there for 6 months, but they're like, oh, but I've been a nurse in other places for many of years. And they would just, I don't know, they would just pick and tease for no reason. And not only nurses, but it would also be like doctors that have been there for a long time. It can be sometimes the techs that help you out. They might help out some nurses. They might not help out the others. But luckily, I didn't deal with that. But I have noticed that at least in the healthcare field, that is a thing that happens.
Absolutely. Okay, we done learned a new term here tonight, Amy. The tea just got hot. The tea. So, Alyssa, with you, I'm sorry, Alyssa Lopez, White Lopez. You know, I just call her Alyssa White, but we're gonna be proper tonight. Alyssa White Lopez, tell us something that maybe stood out to you the most at your current job that was an adversity to you. Working in the field. And let me ask you this: have you worked under a woman in leadership before? Have you had a woman boss, and how was that for you, if you have?
I have, yes. Thank you for asking. And when you asked the question, I had to think about it as far as the terms of racial disparities or anything like that. I realized I've been very fortunate because I've worked for predominantly African American companies most of my career. So I have not really had to face any type of racial issues, fortunately. But I do think that I've experienced across my career the challenge of looking very young. That can definitely, as a young professional, I still get that asked to this day, like, how old are you, 22? Are you 21? So I'm like, girl, no, I'm in my 30s. And I used to hate it. But now I'm like, okay, maybe when I'm 50, 60, I'll still look like this. I hope, if we're lucky. Um, but definitely that is something I could say across my career. And I can only speak for myself, but I have spoken to other young women and young men, and it seems to be something across the board. People love the term of millennial, like, oh, you're a millennial when you're working with the older folks. They think that's just a term that means young. I'm like, girl, the millennials are like 30 and 40 now, and our bones are cracking. But that's definitely the first thing I would say. To your question, Erica, working with a female leader, I've worked with two, and I feel that they have been two of the most pivotal people in my career. Both women have taken me under their wings at the different times when I've worked under them and almost seen me like a mentee and really poured into me. So I was very fortunate to have that experience and to witness that also teaches you and helps you along when you climb the ladder. You remember that and you remember to look back and say, I'm going to help the next person. I'm going to pull the intern up. I'm going to pull the coordinator up or whoever it may be. But yes. So to
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Oh, can I add a little bit to that? I I have somewhat of almost the opposite. I've been in the male dominated field. That's exactly what it is. So I've gone from being in planning to, looking at the overall picture to being in construction and literally wearing my steel toe boots, my hard hat. I still wear a hard hat now, a safety vest, and I have to wear my boots now. And it's kind of hard being, the only female and sometimes the only Black female sitting in the meeting who is literally monitoring a project and who can go to the money person and say, hey, I need about 250,000 because a change order is coming up and it's for, XYZ. We found something under the ground that we didn't think it was there. And that's been a challenge because I can walk into a room and sit down and be just as quiet as I can be without the folks across the table realizing that I have direct ties to the money person. Or if I go out into the field and I see something I don't like, I have direct ties to the other organization or the partner organization that is helping us or assisting us in administering our contracts. So it's that going from, I used to be the youngest, but the time goes on. But being the youngest, being a female, and being a Black female sitting at the table where a lot of major decisions are being made. So it's a balancing act a lot of times. I understand that, looking a particular way. Looking a particular way. When I would go, I would have to dress down to go to work. And then if I wanted to do something after work, I'd have to go home, shower, put on my makeup. Oh no, but I always did. I always did my makeup and I always had my nails, even out in the field. But there's just certain things that there's just certain things that we have to deal with when we choose our particular professions. I knew it was male dominated, but I didn't know just how male dominated it really, really was. And it continues to be that way, even though a lot of women are getting into project management, but I still don't see a lot of women and a lot of women of color getting into my design field, which is landscape architecture.
All right. So Jadonna, okay, so you got us hyped because y'all got a building, y'all are doing your thing. What in you can do both sides of the house, both on the current business and in your private industry days. Tell us a moment where you were like, okay, I gotta make my own money because this don't make no sense. An adversity, a situation where you were like, okay, I'm better than this.
Oh yeah, at KPMG, I can everything that Karen is talking about, male dominated, absolutely male dominated. You, in order to get ahead, and I can tell you guys because you guys are Phils, they didn't figure out how I was getting all that work done. But I'm gonna tell you, my son was 16 or 17 at the time. So we're talking about he's 30 now, so like 15, 16 years ago before they had all the IT stuff. So I trained him on a lot of stuff that I was doing. I would toss that spreadsheet to him. I said, I don't care what you do. By the time I walk in that door, you have all this stuff in here. And he would throw it back to me. They had no idea how it was working. You have to outwork. You literally have to manage your image. You have to let them thinking you just outworking them. My boss is like, you are just not going to outwork JD. And you know what? As a new business owner, I fully funded the business. I didn't think about it till I back. So they were paying me a ton of money. I billed them 16 hours a day for 5 or 6 years straight. Let me tell you something. When you good, let me tell you something. First, you got to be good, then you got to be lucky. Them checks, 30,000 a month. I fully funded the daycare. We owe nobody. So when I look for the building, I'm telling you, I had to pay the rent, the payroll, I had to everything because I was, managing my sister, everything. I was running it. But I was also, they had no idea how I was getting all that work done. But I had fully trained my son. And then fortunately, my husband was an attorney. So if I needed something on the legal side, I called him up. You got somebody on your staff that can help me out with this. Because, I need some, the way we help each other in sorority, you got to have some tricks up your sleeve, and you have to manage your image. You have to manage it. I went to work with a suit on every day, had my bullets. Yeah, my bulletproof suit.
Yeah.
And I had a goal. You got to have a goal. I said, make sure you get out of it what you want out of it. Don't let them work you to death and you don't have A, B, C, and D. You better have you. But I did. I worked myself. I worked really hard for those years. And for anybody that has accomplished anything, you're going to have to grind at some point in your life. Trust me. It don't just come. You're going to be on your grind for a minute. And I must have worked around the clock, y'all, because I had thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And it paid off.
So Carla Reed said, Sora Jadonna, when are you writing your book?
That's right. And Sora Correa, yep, that's it. When use your resources. Use your resources. That is so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We need to understand what you taught your son, so all of our private industry girlies can go ahead and get it together, because the money is out there. It's just having the time to go get it. Like
having the time, and you don't have to be an expert. That's why I wanted to join sorority. You don't have to be the expert at everything. You just got to have that person right there. That person right there, and my husband happened to be the person that was in charge of compliance at the time, that KPMG. So where did they put me? I was in the compliance office, so nobody knew what I knew. I was the expert, and you know what? I've had people say, they pay you, JD, and I realized they don't pay everybody. So you gotta manage that. You have to. You're gonna be a $15 accountant, or you're gonna be making $30,000 a month. So you gotta figure it out. And that was 10 years ago, y'all.
So what I'm hearing from Sora Jadonna is it's never too late to pivot and do what you gotta do.
Right.
Because I go to work every day and I keep thinking,
Oh yeah. And
do I love this job for real?
And what you're doing, and what we do outside of work has to bring in the coins too, because it costs way too much to go to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Mortgages is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Rent is crazy. So now you need to, God giving you that little glimmer of a vision, you just jump on it, because.
And the average millionaire has 5 checks coming in. Do not forget that. The average millionaire has 5 checks coming in. They probably got rental income, investment income. You might be sitting there on your job. Then you got your hustle. So it got to add up.
All right. So Phil, you hear that? 5 streams of income. Not just what you do. You can turn, and we had this conversation too. You can turn what you love into an income stream. If you have an idea, you can share it with someone, and whatever it is, you can turn that to an income stream. I have a Phil who's in college and just had almost the same exact conversation with him last night.
Right.
So he's looking for some kind of job. And I said, look, you're in school, but you can go online and Google. I literally sat online and Googled with him for a few minutes what home-based businesses or work from home or how to make income from home or how to make passive income. Because he's looking for something. He's looking for something as well. And going back to something real quick that Sora Alyssa said, when she was in college, that you changed your major. You changed your major when you're in college. So he's doing the same thing. He went in for one thing, got through freshman year, mid-semester, last semester, he said, Mom, I'm changing my major to psychology. I said, okay. Whichever it is, because that's why you're there. You're there to find something. You're there to find your niche. You're there to find something that you love that you can turn into a career, not just something that's going to make you money. Turn it into a career, and then there are other things that you can find to make you money, to be a side hustle, to be one of your streams of income. I really do love this conversation because if our youth are taking notes, or if they're listening, and if they're listening to their moms and their dads, then they're picking up all kinds of information. So I really, really appreciate this conversation.
And you know, I want to add for the fields, because my daughter wanted to be a Broadway dancer. She went to New York, so she wanted to do this Broadway career. I said, let me tell you something. Your mama and daddy ain't gonna be just writing them checks while you in New York. So this is what we came up with. This is what we came up with after she gasped. Right? She went to St. John's because she had to be in New York. So she is the grant writer for Mighty Minds. Every show you go, I said, every show you production, they're gonna need a PR person. They're gonna need somebody to get some money up in that spot. So she is the grant writer for Mighty Minds. So once she could finish college, she continued to write grants, and just writing the grant paid her rent. I said, I don't care what you do. Go tap on down. But then when it's time every month to be the contract administrator, you better hit send, complete that report, hit send, and then go right on back on stage. I don't care if it's 2:00 in the morning. And you know what? That was the best advice I gave her. And she's so grateful. She did go on to, after she graduated from college, then she went on to school to be acting, singing, and dancing. So she was happy. So, but she was still the grant administrator. Y'all see what I'm talking about? She was still paying her rent. And then once COVID hit, oh my God, she was devastated. All her friends, and one of them had just landed the Motown show. Zuri had just landed Rose's Ride. Everybody had to come back home from New York. Everybody had to come back home. And lo and behold, she came home. She was devastated. But that's when she saw we had the Mighty Minds. So that's when she was like, shoot, she started, long story short, she has her own dance studio. She started her own studio. She has her own dance studio. She has, she's probably got almost 100 kids now. So she's kind of hooked up to the foundation too. And not only does she has her own dance studio, she's still a contract administrator, y'all, right? Plus she still got that dance studio. And then because she was able to turn it around, she graduated from Bishop McNamara. They had her speaking all the time, so they hired her as a teacher. So
okay.
So she's teaching at Bishop McNamara. And then in the meantime, because she still plans on pursuing whatever, acting and stuff, she bought a condo. I said, let me tell you something. You buy this condo, so then even if you land New York, you rent this condo out, and that's 4 streams of income. That's going to pay your rent in New York from the rental income.
Yeah, so what we also need to have is a Jadonna Fix My Life, where she can help you decide how many strings you need to have. And it's so funny you told that story about your daughter. I know my mom is listening. Shout out to Sora Judy Bell. And I know my daddy is not listening because he's probably in his own world right now. But I wanted to go to A&T for fashion design.
Right.
Okay. Fashion design. And we live in here in Maryland, long lineage of Aggies.
Right.
That's where I knew I wanted to go. My dad looked at me. He said, let me tell you something. You ain't going to no A&T for no fashion design. First of all, you out of state. What you think this is? And I'm like, but college is where you find yourself. College is where you do what you want to do, right? That's what you're saying. And he was like, absolutely not. Okay. So he was like, me and your mama sat back and looked at it. You gonna choose between agribusiness and biological engineering. I was like, who doing that? Who is doing that? Because in my mind, I wanted to be one of the first plus size designers. I wanted to be on runway. I was like, this is what I wanted to do. So I went and chose biological engineering. My dad was like, you could do it. You've been doing so good at school. I was devastated. I was just so freaking devastated. However, I did the program. Midway through the program, Lane Bryant had a casting call.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I want to do that casting call.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. Daddy said, you ain't casting nothing. You gonna stay in school and you can model when you get done. And I said, when I get done, I etched it in the stone. So next thing you know, I graduated, got my engineering degree, whatever, right? I was like, okay, I finished it. It was one of the best decisions in my life. Met amazing people. I was able to come out of school with a job. So like, I'll come back to that piece because I think current day is different, right? Back then, I feel like you had to choose a degree to guarantee certain kind of money. Nowadays, you can have an idea and you rich tomorrow. So it's just having the person guide you correctly, things of that nature. But I had to wait until I was done with school, fully working to have a modeling career. And my folks was like, you got that good old government job. What you think you doing modeling? I said, you said I could do it once I graduated. I said, come on now. And it took quite a few shows. Well, I did do a show in Harlem with Ashley Stewart Corporate with my daddy. Like, okay, this might be real. I said, oh my gosh, but I couldn't, like to this day, I cannot focus on that because clearly I'm the president of the chapter, but I have to work my everyday job. I cannot get to New York to model. That is just, it's impossible. So now that the world has changed, there's multiple ways to embrace what I like to do. So I'm figuring out how that works. But what I was going to say is I feel like as African Americans, we had a window of time where you had to choose the right career, the right degree in order to guarantee yourself a good job graduating. I feel like I was still in that bubble in the early 2000s where I had to say, okay, if I don't choose the right degree, I'm not going to graduate making no money. And it was right. So like, with people who have business degrees now, I feel like you have a better chance to make even more money because you have the internet, you have multiple platforms versus when I graduated, if you were not at the top of your class to get with that top company, you were going to struggle. You had to go get that graduate degree. You had to go do these things in order to suffice. But now it seems like there are opportunities to do your business and other degrees and survive. And let me know your thoughts about that because I know my folk, they were like, if you're not doing anything tech based,
right,
we ain't sending you out of state here. So I said, I got to do engineering. I'm stuck like Chuck. I'm stuck, and I had to make it work. But we are curving around 45 minutes. So I want to, ladies in the chat. Oh, we do have a question in chat. Lynette said, how do you feel about your parents overriding your decision on your major? Well, now that I'm an adult, it was, it's all right. But I will say it was very heavy on me for many years. It was because I said, oh my God, runway is what I see in my head when I close my eyes. When I now that I've done it, I'm like, okay, I'm okay. But it was so real. I was sitting in my apartment in Portsmouth, Virginia, because I was working at the shipyard. And I was flipping through the channels on TV. It was a fuzzy channel. It was a channel that wasn't even really getting the best service. And I heard, now I know who this woman is. Her name is Gwen DeVoe. She was saying, yes, because of Full Figure Fashion Week, we da 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 da. And I grabbed a pen, paper. I'm already sitting at my desk and I start writing. Next thing you know, I was casting for Full Figure Fashion Week.
All right.
It was meant to happen. It was meant to happen.
It was meant to happen.
It was meant to happen. So at first they were like, girl, why are you doing this? Because we big women's in my family. Ain't nobody on no runway. What you mean? You go to work,
Mhm.
But once I did it, it was like, wow. So now I think it's okay to, do what your parents deem is important, but always find space to do what you need to do too, because you can't always live the dream and the path of your folks. So I had to understand they mean well, they have a plan that worked for them, but there was no stopping me from doing it. It was and thank goodness before I stopped walking, I was able to have a grandmother show up to one of my shows in New York. I mean, I was able to do a lot with my family. They were present. So it was amazing. So I would tell people all the time, like, if your job is your love, like I got a manager, she loves her job, like at work. She really loves her job. And I'm just sitting there like, I can't wait to leave because I got some things I got to work on outside of work. So just do what you want to do and love what you do too.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're gonna be sad.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be sad. Okay, we have some comments, but it was something I was gonna say. Closing remarks to give your best elevator pitch for life. Give us what you got. We're gonna let Jadonna go last because something tell me people gonna be in these comments cutting up real bad. So
We all waiting for her book.
yes. And then Karen don't understand. I could just shift her off the screen. She keep leaving totally. I don't understand.
Okay.
So Alyssa Johns, what is your closing remarks for the Phils and the sorors and guests?
So my closing remarks, it pretty much echoes like what you were saying. Like, definitely, like, don't forget the things that you love. Of course, go into that major or whatever you want to do with your career. Like, definitely think of like the outcomes and like it's important, and think of all the factors other than, oh, I love this, I want to do this, and not thinking of, okay, how's this going to pay the bills and so forth. And definitely, since I talked about, there's going to be different careers, not just nursing, that have those, so to speak, coworkers that aren't really for you. You're going to have those adversities. It could be with coworkers. It could just be with what you go into forever. You can definitely push through, and you can definitely find something always better.
Yes.
And then still stay on the reason for why you love that career or why you wanted to go into it. And that makes a whole difference with all like the pressures and adversities of stuff that's going on.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sora Alyssa. Okay. So Alyssa White Lopez. Welcome back, Karen. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I keep getting picked up.
Yeah, I would echo what you all have said, sorors, to the Phils and to everybody on the call. I'm definitely an advocate for following your heart, following your passion, whatever sets you aflame, like go for it. Because as Sora Erica said, you will not be happy. And I'm gonna throw Jesus up in there. He is going to find a way. So when you feel it in your heart, go for that. He will make a way. If you want to move to Atlanta and you don't got but $5 to your name, he will make a way. But also learn the art of hard work, the art of pivot, because faith without works is dead.
Mhm.
You ain't going nowhere if you don't work. But that's one, I would say that's my closing remark. I definitely want to stress to the feels, the art of the pivot, um, the art of always finding a way, never giving up. Kind of circling back to that conversation about the majors, because that definitely hit home for me. I've known so many people in college. Fortunately, I was able to find the major that I loved, but I know so many people who had that same experience as Erica, where their parents were telling you like, no, you're going to go do this or that. And I think we have so many resources available to us today where we can do things a little bit different. Even if you go for that major, we have minors. As a person who did a minor of college, I want to definitely stress that to you all, that minors open up doors for you, because it can definitely put you in the middle, in the crossroads of different worlds that you want to explore, and make you more marketable and able to diversify yourself. So definitely look into things like that and following passions outside of just college and careers. Always having something on the side that lights you a flame and gets you going. So
Oh, I just want to add a couple of things that just came to mind. Your counselors, your school counselors, use your school counselors.
yes,
They should
yes.
know your name. Your middle school, you all have counselors. High school, they should see you once a week. You should be asking them about scholarships. You should be asking them about all kinds of opportunities, because they are the ones who get that information. I don't know if they send emails out. If they still do the things up on the board where you guys walk past as you're going from class to class, but they are definitely a resource. They're definitely a resource. And even when you're looking at high schools, look and see what kind of, not just how many kids graduate, but how many kids graduate and where they go. Where are they going? What are some of the majors that they're looking at? What are some of the schools they are applying to? But yes, use your resources and dream big, because nothing really is impossible. Nothing is impossible, because once you put your mind to it, it's almost as good as done. I'll say it like that, because once you think about it, your actions start to lead you in that direction. Once you think about it, you focus on it, then you automatically start doing things that set you on that path.
All right. Now don't go too far, Karen. You like to click off once you say something. We gonna hate you.
Dang it, my computer.
Karen click all the way out, chat.
Oh, I know. That's like 4 or 5 times a night. That's okay.
So Jadana, what are your last words? I mean, for the live, ma'am.
Okay, I just like to say that I really admire this generation, because someone from the generation who, in my generation, we limited ourselves. But I must say that I always tell my kids I admire them, because they are both in the arts and they were so resilient. They were just resilient. Didn't matter what their parents said, they were going to figure it out. But they incorporated the advice that I gave them to fund their dream and make it work.
Right.
So I love the fact that you guys pursue your passion, and just have the tenacity and resilience to do it. Find somebody that can that can mentor you and help you to overcome some of the obstacles. And that's why you're Phil's. I think that's just great.
Yes. And
Mhm.
hello, Sor Teresa. She said, Phil Micah asks, what if you don't think you're made for college? What else can you do?
Do
Listen,
we?
I got a
Okay.
whole spiel. So
So do I. Go
I
ahead.
know here in state of Maryland and in Prince George's County, there are certain high schools that have trades. Okay, they have trade like Suitland High School has they allow you to do trade programs where you can learn other types of things like how to fix cars, how to do hair, how to do all these things. And because the world is moving so fast, like the way we used to have to do business was, to me, I felt was super slow. Like you had to find somebody. Like if you wanted to be on television, oh my gosh, you had to just hang out in New York, LA, bump into somebody, know somebody who knows somebody. Then they decide if they're going to give you a chance. Versus now you have social media where if it's something
Mhm.
you want to do, even if you're not even good at it. But if you get the attention of people, they will follow you. So not only will you get paid for the job you think you know how to do, then the social media platforms will pay you because you're bringing in so much footwork. So now, and then people find you now. People know how to find you because of social media. And I think it's all about just getting a mentor. Like if you want to do what Jordana is doing, she probably would pay you, y'all can pay $200 for her course that we can help her put together, and y'all can go online and pay for it. You see how we did that? Somebody help her. I will tape the course and put it all together, help sort down it. But there are platforms in which she could sit back, record how to do the business, sell the course. So at any time, somebody could go in and pay $200 to watch her course, and they can have it for a lifetime. And if she feels after 2 years it's time for a second session, she could put that online as well too. And that's how you make the money. There are people selling courses on how to make pizza and courses on how to do anything. And you can buy that course at any time, day or night. And bam, there it is. So now you have an expert, you have that expertise because you studied, you can go do the business based on what you want to do.
The trades, if college is not for everyone. But if you are interested in a trade, you will never not have a job. Never not have a job. If you are interested, if you love to cook, you can go to school for that. Now, either you can go to school to learn, or the world is you'll learn from the world. One way or the other, you're going to get some type of education. But there are the trades, the culinary arts. You can even learn how to be your own boss and learn how to start a business. So yeah, college is not for everyone, but that does not mean that you will not stop learning. That does not mean that you will not stop growing. That does not mean that you will not stop trying to find ways to make your life better. Now, your parents have already given you a good life. It's up to you, and they've given you a good foundation. So, Phil, it's up to you to make what your parents have given you even better. So, back to Micah's question: if you're not made, if you're not ready or not made for college, there's something that you can learn to do. There's something that you're interested in doing. If you are interested in comic books, if you're interested in drawing, if you're interested in any of that, you can make that a career.
But you know what?
For you.
And it's so much. So, hey, Sora Crystal from Gamma Chapter. Hey. She said, come on, trade. Let me tell you something. Because after millennials is Gen Z, correct? And then I found out it was another name.
GX or ZX or something.
After that. Yeah. And y'all need to start YouTube channels. Even though I think YouTube channels are taking a hit because of TikTok, trying to paying y'all bills for real, because TikTok is getting a lot of money. But if thank you, Morgan, Gen Alpha. So if you start a YouTube channel, you make so much money. I think you immediately begin to make residual income after 10,000 followers or something like that.
I just saw that.
Yeah.
I'm about to get on there and start singing baby tunes, okay?
There's a little kid on YouTube now that other kids like, and he started his channel. I think his name is Ryan. He started his channel just showing off toys. And now it's just like he has TV shows and everything. I was like,
you gotta get your daughter to start showing off her passies and new diapers. I mean,
yes.
My mother watches. She watches where it is no words. It's like no talking, but it's like one of them is over in Asia, they have this little monkey that's in the house and he has his own life. She is fascinated. And then another family, they don't speak or say nothing. They just be working, building stuff. So if you just get on YouTube, you don't even have to have nothing, but I'm about to put the dog on there and start singing some kitty songs behind him, because I'm just saying my niece will watch all kind of stuff on YouTube, and YouTube will pay you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
We can have this discussion all night. Well, I want to thank Sora Karen, our second vice, for putting this amazing panel together. You all are phenomenal. I'm
yes, you
sure
all have
the
been a wonderful.
chapter, I'm sure the chapter will be calling Jadana to talk about how we gonna all start our daycares and things like that. I'm scared. I'm scared because it's a lot of liability. But if I need to be just a woman who own the business that daycare's in, I do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
But I thank you all so much. And if you would like to join us for our next event, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube. And if you're watching us here on Facebook, hello, hello. We'll be back sooner than later. I think we have another event coming up soon. Thank you all to the many different chapters that are in the comment section. We appreciate y'all for joining us. And be sure to check us out. Watch out for our events. We list them on all of our social media platforms. And until then, you all have a wonderful evening and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.